The celestial Draconis Empire had trained scholars, diplomats, telepaths, and memory weavers for centuries, yet none of them could handle Princess Rosther, the youngest daughter of the dragon empress. Born with wings of silver-white scales shimmering like starlight, the princess had not spoken a single word in her 18 years of life. In the floating citadel of Valorian, tutors came and left, some resigned, some cried. Some insisted the princess was unreachable. Rosther simply watched them all with ancient, unreadable eyes, and every evening, when the tutors left, the janitor entered, a human, a nobody, a man no one cared to learn the name of. His name was James Halden. He swept the marble floors, polished crystal pillars, cleaned chalk, arranged learning cubes, quiet, invisible work. He always arrived when the princess sat alone at her towering window, staring at the nebulae swirling outside the citadel's anti-gravity shield. She never looked at anyone. But she always looked at the stars. James noticed dragons believed humans were too fragile to be teachers, too emotional, too short-lived. So no one paid attention as he hummed earth melodies while working, or as he quietly set toy puppets on a shelf for her. Even though dragons considered puppets childish, he didn't expect anything in return until one day, something changed. The day she turned her head, a new tutor arrived, Professor Kale, a towering dragon scholar known for strict discipline. By midday, his roar shook the palace. "This student refuses to engage," he thundered. "She is deliberately ignoring me." The princess sat, still, serene, eyes fixed on her hands. The empress sighed. Even she, a ruler feared across 10 galaxies, did not know how to reach her daughter. When James entered that evening, he found the classroom in disarray, scrolls scattered. Energy chalk burned out, the desk cracked from the tutors. Tail slamming frustration, he reached for his cleaning tools, but then he froze. Princess Rosther wasn't at her window. She was sitting beside the shelf where he had placed puppets weeks ago. Her clawed fingers hovered over the smallest one, an old earth puppet shaped like a fox. Carefully, James stepped forward. "You like them?" he whispered. Her silver eyes lifted slowly, cautiously, as if pulled by the gravity of an unfamiliar planet. She didn't speak, but for the first time ever, she acknowledged. Someone? James felt like he'd been stabbed through the heart with wonder. He gently picked up the fox puppet and slid it onto his hand. "Hello," he said softly through the puppet, making it wave. "I'm Foxy. I heard you had a rough day." The princess blinked. Then, astonishingly, she tilted her head. It was the first response she had ever given to anyone. A silent girl, a puppet's voiceover. The next days, James used the puppets to talk. He never forced her to respond. He told star stories and earth folk tales, weaving humor and quiet empathy. Through puppets, he asked questions without pressure. Through puppets, he let her sit silently, but still be part of something alive. She began to listen. Really listen. One day, as he made the fox puppet hide behind a book and squeak dramatically, he heard it, a sound so soft he thought he imagined it, a breath of air shaped like a tiny laugh. Not from the puppet. From the princess. He set the puppet down slowly. "You laughed," he whispered. The princess immediately lowered her gaze, wings folding tightly around her as if she had broken a sacred rule. James shook his head warmly. "It's okay. It's beautiful." From that evening on, she didn't sit at the window anymore. She waited by the puppet shelf. The empress intervenes. The empress soon noticed her daughter's sudden engagement and traced it back to an impossible source. A human janitor. She summoned James to the throne hall. Even the air felt heavy with royal pressure. Winged guards lined the chamber like statues carved from moonstone. James bowed so deeply his forehead brushed the cold floor. "Human," the empress growled. "Explain why my daughter responds only to you." James swallowed hard. I don't know, Your Majesty." "She rejects scholars of the mind, telepaths of unmatched skill," the empress said. "Yet she listens to a man who scrubs floors?" James dared a reply. "Maybe she doesn't need scholars," he said quietly. "Maybe she needs someone who doesn't expect anything from her?" The hall murmured with shock, but the empress's eyes glimmered with ancient wisdom. "Demonstrate." A throne-side chamber opened. revealing Princess Rosethar curled in her cocoon-like posture, wings wrapped around herself. Head lowered. James walked forward slowly. Heart hammering, he lifted the fox puppet. "Hey," he said softly. "I'm back." The princess's wings twitched. She unwrapped slightly. Then, before the entire court, she leaned toward the puppet. It was the first voluntary interaction she had initiated in her life. The empress let out a sharp breath. "Unbelievable," a tutor whispered, voice trembling. "He's reaching her." Training a dragon princess human style, James wasn't. Tia pointed as her tutor dragons would never admit a janitor could hold a scholar's rank. Instead, he was allowed to be present during lessons, but soon, lessons began failing without him. The princes refused to look at any tutor unless James operated a puppet beside them. So the empress upgraded his rank. Assistant, then consultant. Then, after a month of unprecedented progress, Royal Human Communications Specialist. But to Rosethar, he was simply the human who listened. They began using a puppet he made specially for her, one with silver wings and gentle, embroidered eyes. He called it Little Rose. She accepted it with reverence, touching it as if it were something sacred. The first word one evening, after the tutors left, James was packing away the puppets. The princess remained unusually restless, wings trembling lightly. He turned. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. She clutched Little Rose to her chest, and then a whisper, a tiny, fragile, barely there syllable. James." He froze. His heart nearly collapsed with the weight of the moment. She had spoken. Her first word in 18 years was his name, the human who rewrote fate. When the court learned the princes had finally spoken, the citadel erupted with celebration. Scholars argued, tutors protested, philosophers panicked. How could a human achieve what the galaxy's finest could not? The empress addressed them with a single proclamation: because humans speak to the soul. James became her official teacher. Princess Rosethar became a symbol of hope for silent dragon children across the empire, and the puppets simple, silly, human became tools studied by alien psychologists. But despite all the new titles, fame, and honor, James continued to talk to her the same way he always had, through stories, through warmth, through quiet understanding. And every night, when lessons ended, the princess would whisper the word she had once feared to speak, "James," and he would smile back, gently lifting the fox puppet. "I'm here, Rose."